Oh, darn.
Dante, I just got the word. Renju's been seen.
What? Where?
Hey, don't forget our deal.
Deal? What deal?
You forgot already? I'm talking about Tessa.
Oh, right.
I'll be waiting. You know what to do.
What should we do?
We have no choice. We have to take her.
To MoMA?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! Late. You're late.
I'm going home.
Never! Have you forgotten the vows you exchanged?
Are you drunk?
No, of course not.
You're drunk.
I kid. Kidding! I can't believe I'm gonna shovel forge with you. I'm getting excited!
We are not shovel forging.
I was talking about the date, silly.
Shovel Forge and a date are synonymous, apparently.
So where are we going?
To meet the dragon.
The dragon? Like that dragon?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Like a fantasy world with swords and magic. And you're gonna teleport me there. Woohoo! I'm getting fired up!
Yeah, I don't even want to understand this game anymore. All the places that he was going to take her are either pervy or all gangster related. It's like this game is just one track minded. Like everything is corrupt in the game. I get the hell out of here, man, with all that. Like everything in the murder mystery is like everyone's corrupt. That ain't life. And if that's life, then everyone should just like hang themselves or something. all he had to do is take her to someplace nice. And it says someplace nice, but someplace nice is probably something perverted, knowing this game. Jesus, man.
Ooh, look at the dragon! So cool! So, this is a crime syndicate building, right?
Yeah, Kumakura's.
And you were trying to make me believe this was some kind of fantasy world?
No, that's what you thought.
Date lied to me!
Date, you bastard! You made Tessa cry!
Mister, save me! Throw this man into Tokyo Bay!
Got it! I'll have him sleeping with the fishes.
This is an interesting turn of events.
I can hardly believe it. Momo, I held up my end of the deal.
You sure did! You want to hear about Renju?
Mr. Okiura?
You said on the phone that you saw Renju.
Yeah, I had all my people looking for him.
So, tell me where he is.
I could...
Hey, I held up my end. I brought Iris like you asked.
Date, come here. Date, I don't quite know how to ask this, but... Can you ask Tessa if I can shake her hand, please?
Oh, that's it? Sure. Iris, could you do me a favor?
A favor?
He, wants to see your boobs.
What the fuck, dude? I didn't say that!
Oh, sorry. What I meant was, he wants to shake your hand.
Oh, a handshake. Sure. I would never show my boobs.
Date, this is the happiest day of my life. It feels good to be the boss.
So how about it?
All right, here it goes. Renju was seen in 2 places. First, Sunfish Pocket, the maid cafe. Second, Ikume Shrine.
Sunfish Pocket and the Kume Shrine.
Got it, thanks.
No problem, bro. Really. Why do you care?
Can I have it?
What?
Can I have the ring?
Why would I give it to you?
Hey, can I have the ring?
Absolutely, of course you can. Here, take it. Wait, no. I can't give you this.
You're so cheap.
Come on, it's not like you're losing it.
It's exactly like I'm losing it.
Aww.
You guys are a good team. Like siblings. They're out. Looking for Renju. Besides, I can't have them here seeing me like this.
Good point.
What happened to Mr. Okiura? I heard he escaped the hospital.
So did I. But I don't know anything more than that.
Please tell me?
saying about Tess?
Oh, well.
Dante saw a parallel world with my dead body in it.
A parallel world?
Never heard of it?
Oh, yeah, of course I have. Yeah, right. Parallel world.
I don't understand it, but I suppose he does.
Good, because I don't feel like...
But why would Mr. Okiura do that?
I don't know. He could be a hostage or an accomplice. Either way, we need to find him. Sorry for bringing you here.
It's okay.
You don't have to be scared, Tessa. We're not thugs. We're just a gang.
About as contradictory as meatless beef.
The old boss was really violent.
He would take a cheese grater to someone's leg if they looked at him funny.
But after I took over, we went crystal clean.
Crystal.
Methamphetamines.
No, we don't do drugs. We don't deal with that stuff. We had to restructure the whole operation. Cut a lot of people off.
Their throats.
No, not like that.
Oh yeah, I haven't introduced this old man yet.
I'm 24.
Mama is lying. He is at least 48.
Absolutely.
Sorry for not introducing myself. My name is Moma Kumakura. I work for a prestigious advertising agency.
You run the Kumakura gang, right? You're like a mob boss.
How did you know that?
Is he stupid?
Moma may not look it, but he's a huge ASET fan.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm a huge fan.
Gambling.
Bet, debt, ASET!
Worries.
Forget, fret, ASET!
Now what does she say?
ASET, you bet!
Wow, my catchphrase! Thank you!
This is kind of embarrassing.
But sorry, Moma. I don't like gangsters.
I don't like gangsters either. Gangsters are awful. All those nasty Yakuza guys should drop dead, am I right?
Anyway, Moma, take care of Iris for me.
What?
What? Wait! You're leaving me here?
You'll be safe with him.
Are you serious? Look at his face! Not to mention he runs a crime syndicate. What if he sells me to the highest bidder?
Tessa, I would never do that. I told you, we're clean now. We all go home on time, we follow government regulations.
See ya.
Wait! What about Shovel Forge?
I told you I never promised to play with you.
But you promised me a date!
Date, is this true? You son of a bitch.
I'll get him on out.
Good idea.
Date, you're gonna look for Mr. Okiura, right? Take me with you. If you do, I'll tell you about last night.
Her late night visitor.
Fine.
Hey!
Date, don't ignore me.
A clean gang?
Oh, that's just a toy.
Oh, just a toy.
Let's leave them alone for a while.
We have two places to check. Sunfish Pocket and Ikume Shrine.
I want to go to the warehouse, too. Where you found my dead body.
Something bothering you?
No, I'm just curious. Oh, and one more thing. somewhere?
Food sounds good. I haven't eaten in a while.
Oh, my chest hurts. Getting hard to breathe.
You okay?
It's okay. I just, missed a step there.
Someone?
I used to call him Uncle. He was a thoughtful, reliable man, but one day, he just disappeared.
She's talking about.
Hitomi's lover.
When you asked me why I became an idol, I wasn't being entirely truthful. I told you that it was because I wanted to become famous. But more specifically, it was for Uncle. I'd been looking for him for 6 years, but I didn't find him anywhere. I didn't know where else to look. So instead of me finding him, I thought that he could find me instead.
You think if you became famous, he'd contact you?
Yeah.
So that is why she became an idol.
I mean, it's also been my dream since I was little. That's a part of it, too.
So why do you use the name Asa? Shouldn't you use your real name?
Oh no, I don't have to. He was the one who came up with the name Aset. He told me that if I ever became an idol, I should use that name. Mr. Okura isn't here. I mean, of course he isn't. It's not like we came here right away.
He's already taken off.
Too bad.
It looks like there are no further clues here. It appears we've wasted our time.
It's called Ikume Iribiko Isachi no Mikoto, or sometimes Ikume Tenno, or Ikume no Mikoto. There are legends about this place written in the old text. It's a shrine dedicated to the gods. The old legend goes like this. One day, Ikume Iribiko sent one of his followers, Taji Momori, on an urgent quest to find a mysterious magical fruit. A fruit called Tokijiku no Kaku. It's said that eating it will grant you immortality. After many hardships, Taji Momori was able to find the fruit. But by the time he got back, Ikume Iribiko had died. Taji Momori mourned. He handed half of the fruit to the man's wife, and he left the other half on Ikume Iribiko's grave, then died on the spot. It is said that that fruit is still inside the shrine behind us.
Really? The fruit of immortality?
Yes. A flower over there.
Flower?
You can't see it from here, can you? I know it's there because I've been to this shrine before. Not interested?
No, not really. I'd rather have normality than immortality.
An iris. More specifically, a winter iris. This is the same flower that was on display at Iris's house.
Yeah, how did you know? It's the same kind that's at my house. I told you about what it means, right?
Good news and hope.
Iris is also a part of the eye, and the Greek goddess of rainbows. She delivered messages from the gods. That's why the flower means good news and hope.
Date, we have no time to waste. We should get moving.
Got it.
Wow, this is surprising. What's going on here? Why are you two together?
Oh, well, it's...
Forget it. Thanks for letting me stay last night.
Oh, no trouble at all. Anytime. You could even live with me if you want.
That's a great idea. The roommate I have right now really sucks.
This girl.
Why are you asking me about that?
I was just curious.
That company was made by my grandpa, but Daddy has nothing to do with it. I don't know anything about the warehouse. The police asked me a bunch of questions, but I don't know where he is. What are you gonna do, scold me or something? Why do you care what I do?
Why are you so angry?
I'm not angry. In fact, I'm feeling good.
Excuse me. Mizuki was crying earlier.
Crying?
Yes. We were trying to cheer her up. What happened to her mom was... And we thought she was having a hard time. She must have come here looking for company. That's probably why she stayed with Iris last night. She didn't want to be alone.
Shoko's body is still under the jurisdiction of the police. There has not been a ceremony, nor has the body been cremated. The culprit has not been caught, and we cannot locate Renju. And on top of that, her roommate has abandoned her.
I did not abandon her.
In any case, there are many ways you could calm Mizuki down.
Mizuki is just trying to act strong. Please, try to understand.
Iris, I still need to know. What were you doing Sunday at 2 a.m.?
You haven't fulfilled your promise.
This is the date. I fulfilled my promise.
I told you. No info until the date is complete. Don't you get it? This date isn't over yet. She's my friend from back when I worked here. We would hang out outside of work, too. We'd go to haunted places and UFO sightings and stuff. Blow those boys away! Blow those boys away!
Yeah, blow those boys!
Mizuki, you really shouldn't say that. Mr. Okiura helped me when I was just starting out. You know how my mom is single? He really supported her. He even changed my diaper when I was a little baby. I got hired by Lemniscape all because of him.
Iris used to stream all her own content. Like singing and dancing and gaming and stuff. But before we knew it, she went viral.
Right, I heard about that. That's how she started getting offers, right? But because Iris's mom knows Renju, she decided to go with Lemniscape.
But there's more to it than that. There are other reasons. Daddy was totally taken in by her talent.
Her talent?
Dancing, really. Her dancing is what got her into Lemniscape. He knew ever since she was young that she would be talented. He didn't want any other agencies to have her.
I didn't know that.
Daddy's not the type to give compliments.
This is kind of embarrassing. I didn't know he thought of me that way. More than sleeping and eating? Well, maybe about the same as eating. Anyway, I've always loved moving my body, ever since I was a little girl.
And you're fast, too.
Yeah, I did a lot of track meets. Were you always the anchor? Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
I told you that Iris is the goddess of rainbows in Greek mythology, right? She was the messenger of the gods. She had to be really fast.
Rainbows being so fast to disappear was the source of the legend.
You're as fast as your namesake, then.
You want to race?
Sure, when we get the chance. I've heard that Renju was sighted here.
When do you mean?
When? I got the info a few minutes ago, but I don't know when he was seen.
Oh.
Ringing any bells?
Well, he hasn't come by today, but yesterday.
Yesterday? But I was here yesterday.
It was after that. After you and Ota left.
Why didn't you tell me sooner?
You didn't ask. And I don't have any way to contact you.
Damn it.
We just missed him.
He was looking for Iris. He was asking everyone where she was. Looking for me? Yeah.
Did he give a reason?
No, not in particular.
Iris, can you think of why he would be looking for you?
No, not at all.
Mizuki?
I don't know either.
Anything else? Well, he did seem really sick. He was pale and sweating a lot.
It must have been because of the accident.
Perhaps.
Mizuki comes here a lot. She's really friendly with everyone.
I like it here. Everyone treats me nice.
Is it because you're the daughter of the owner?
No, it's not like that.
We're BFFs.
She wields extraordinary power with that trident.
The Okiura family is really something else.
Well, a triple board sea devil or an Anacanthus barbatus.
That's a mouthful.
Right here? Oh, I want to see too.
Me too.
I would also like to see that.
I don't know.
Come on, just show us.
But... Alright, I'll go set up. Wait! Jeez. Fine, if you insist. Yay! Iris, we're ready. Alright, world, get ready! See my dance! Invincible Rainbow Arrow! Hit it!
Teacups that are flying, on maps mystifying. You'll think that I'm lying, this old tale of mine. A journey through time. A permanent fire, cold frost on the pyre. Fruit never expires, you've seen in your eyes. You've seen in your mind. While the old bow their heads, while the blind meet the blind, the marble loses shine, the eye clouds by design. But we know in our soul the one hope, the one truth, that if we believe we can make miracles. Even with the devils of time against you, never let the fire fade in you. See the golden goddess with wings of rainbows, set sail through the night sky to embrace you. Resist, allow your heart to take you. Never let this merciless world erase you. Passing down the light of the torch to guide you, and you shall be bathed in light. Tessa, you're the best!
That song. Mr. Okiura wrote the music, and I wrote the lyrics. So it holds a special place in my heart.
That's right. I forgot he wrote music.
Yeah, he's really talented. I look up to him. He's done so much for me. I know I can rely on him more than anyone else.
I thought I told you this already. Don't ask me the same questions over and over.
Date, look.
She's lying?
Possibly. She may just be excited or upset.
Unfortunately, we didn't find Renju here.
But we discovered that he was looking for Iris.
But why?
We can think about that later. Let's get going.
Yeah, you're right. I saw it. I'm sure. Your corpse, Iris. Right here.
But I'm here now. Maybe I'm a ghost.
You don't look like a floating sheet. You have legs.
But maybe they're not legs. Maybe they're my boobs. Didn't you say that you saved me in your dream? What did you mean by that?
I told you that I'm with an organization called Abyss, right?
Yeah, you told me 2 days ago.
We find clues in the minds of suspects and witnesses. We enter what we call Somnium, a dream world projected by their subconscious. That's what the entire organization is about.
How do you even do that?
We have a machine that we call the Sync Machine.
What is that?
It's a sync machine.
That's not an explanation. Tell me how it works.
Well, I can explain, but it will require a bit of background to understand.
Background?
Okay, so everything I summed up from since the whole Yakuza location and then the shrine and then the bar. It seems like she's prying as well. While Dante is investigating, she's investigating him in certain situations, trying to find out certain things from him in association to what he's doing. For instance, she took him to see the dragon, the guy at the Kamakura, the Yakuza. And then when he was there, the guy wanted to shake her hand and so on and so forth. She said she didn't want to stay with him or anything like that. But she wanted, she was joking about protecting herself from Dante and stuff, or leaving her with the Yakuza. But then she started to ask certain questions about what he does and how he does his job and so on and so forth. And then she wanted to leave and go with Dante and not stay there with the guy. So she was curious to know where Dante was going and why he was going there. So she didn't so much care about the Yakuza guy. She was more interested in what Dante was doing and why he was trying to leave her with the Yakuza guy. That's why I would say she's prying into Dante. And then at the shrine, she was talking about the guy from her past, the uncle, the one that our mother Hitomi had the thing with. I don't know why she would call that dude an uncle, but whatever. She described him in a pretty much vague manner, but then she wanted to see how Dante's what he would think with regards to the certain situations, what he was asking, like the questions I was given to ask her were more like questions that she would want to hear, to see what response he was going to give. And then now at the bar, not so much, because it was mostly about him asking Mizuki and the waitress and Asit here, simply about random stuff in regards to Renju and Okiura, but not so much the Trident restaurant. I would say out of all two, the Trident restaurant is the only one that's not that suspicious. However, when Renji's name was brought up and says Renji was there, and the maid says she didn't ask for, she forgot to give him the Renju's number or tell him anything because she didn't have Date's number. Ace didn't seem to care that much. In fact, Asap doesn't seem to really care that. I mean, she says she thinks Renju is amazing and he's always supported her and stuff, but she doesn't seem to care too much about what Renju is doing, even though she's glad that he's the person that hired her and so on and so forth. She seems to be more infatuated with what Date is trying to do. Not really Date himself, but what Date is trying to do. Prying into his certain things, and especially here more than anything. So, two locations she was prying. The bar not so much, but here she's prying as well. So at least that's why I'm keeping her in the forefront, because every time she's around, it seems like there are two sides to her. There's the side that's prying, and then there's the side that's just innocent. And the prying side seems to always want to one-up the innocent side. You know, like she wants to know what he's doing so she could maybe counter it in some ways. So this is why I consider her one of the suspects. From the moment he met her, she was always kind of reverse psychology, doing certain things, either to distract him or to get questions out of him. But he wouldn't know it that she was doing that. It just came across as innocent banter, but it was always something that seemed to have a purpose. I don't even know, to be honest with you, that there was actually someone at her door that came to see her. She was probably pretending during the whole time during her scream. So that's why she comes across as very suspicious. But like I said, Pewter, Ota, the mom, and of course Aiba are all the suspects. Peter got hit by the prisoner 89. I guess maybe he could have stopped, but he didn't do anything. It seems more logical, like based on how Peter behaves, that he's not involved whatsoever. But it's too early to tell. Like when certain criminals do certain things, it's to distract. I mean, if they're smart criminals, it's to distract you or to pry information out of you and do crazy stuff, you know. Because if you can't see them, doesn't necessarily mean that they're not around. At least you have to always have that type of mentality when it comes to criminals. So, let's see. Moving forward, let's see what she'll say. That's why I always tell people, like, nah, if you're living with other people, you gotta make sure that you know the people you're living with. Make sure you know who they're bringing in and who they're leaving with outside of your home. If you don't know the person, you don't let them in, regardless of who they're associated within your home, because you don't know them, even if the other person does. It doesn't work that way. Only stupid people allow strangers into their home without actually knowing who they are. Even like, say, even if it's your daughter that invite her boyfriend over to the house, you still want to let the boyfriend into your house because you don't know the boyfriend. Even if it's your own daughter, you have to know who these people are before. This is not like the past before. Only ignorant people still do that nonsense. And sorry to say, there are some certain people within my family that are like that. And with other people's family that are like that as well. This world sometimes is backwards, and some people just don't use their head whatsoever. Sometimes wonder why you even wake up. You know, sometimes you just feel like just going back to sleep. I'm like, why am I even waking up, man? Half of the people in the world don't make sense whatsoever. So might as well just go back to sleep. But that's not how things work. You have to work. Do you know about the wedget system? Why would she know about the wedget system? You just literally told her what it is. You know what? I'll ask her anyway. I'll see what she's going to say.
I guess not.
No, I know what it is. It's the core programming behind AI, right?
That's right. What's wrong?
What?
You're shivering.
It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
To borrow Pewter's explanation, with the advent of the Wadjet system, we can extract the data of the human psyche. This data is sent to the brain, which achieves the sync.
I don't know what in the hell is going on in this game, but she knows what the Wadjet system what the Wadjet system is, but she doesn't know what the side link that allows them to use the Wadjet system does. Obviously, if she knows that Pewter created the Wadjet system, you know, she would have figured, well, if Pewter created the Wadjet system, he would have used it for something. But she doesn't know what the side thing is that he's going to use. That it never occurred to her. Like, she never had the intelligence enough to know that he is going to use it for something, but she know what the Wadjet system is. At least she decided to be competent enough to know what that is. She didn't know what he was going to use it for. There's a lot of weirdy stuff going on with this chick. That's why I was saying, man, I swear to everything, if I found out that she's not even human, that she's an alien or some type of robot or something, I'm gonna flip a lid. Because then that has nothing to do with this game. Then the whole point of her dying or being stabbed and everything moving forward or anything associated with her is pointless from the moment we met her to where we are now. And all of these things are sugar-coated toppings to block our path and not let us focus on Shoko, the main person of the story. I'm getting tired of all these block paths nonsense. I need to move forward with the story. Enough of these sidetrack nonsense. It's not helping the story.
Nanotech? Yeah! Technology related to really small things. Like, really teeny tiny things. And when they make a machine, they're called nanomachines. I heard they use them a lot for medical and tech fields. Some of the cutting-edge nanomachines can even go inside your body and cure illnesses. They can even cure cancer. And they go beep, beep, beep. That's what Mom said. Well, I don't know if it was like beep, beep or rrr. But anyway, nanotechnology costs tons of money. Only a few people can even afford it. My college professor said only the richest of the rich have nanotechnology. But he's pretty liberal, so...
Largely accurate. Nano is a prefix meaning 10 to the negative 9th power. A nanometer is therefore 0.0000000001 meters. The sync machine uses machines approximately 2.16 nanometers long. Viruses are on average 20 to 970 nanometers, so sync nanomachines are far smaller than that. This allows them to access neural circuitry. During a sync, the nanomachines are used to write in the syncer's data.
Great, now we're talking about nanomachines. Like, it's relevant to talk about nanomachines. Like, what for? They're just cognitive functions. They're like blood vessels, but they're mechanical blood vessels allow things to work within certain places. They have no relevance whatsoever. Even if they carry personal information and memories, it doesn't matter. No one cares about the nanomachines. They care about the information itself.
blood-brain barrier, right? Inside the skull, there's an army of little teeny tiny soldiers that surround the brain. They protect the brain from bad stuff in the blood, right?
That's almost it, yeah.
The blood-brain barrier describes the architecture of the microvessels of the brain. It is a kind of shield that protects the brain. To get through, an object must be no larger than 0.4 nanometers. Objects too large to slip through the barrier cannot physically access the brain.
Okay, you have the basics down. Let me explain how syncing works. Syncers like me equip the sync gear and use it to access the subject's brain. Inside the helmet are nanocables. And on the tip of each of these cables is a special nanomachine. But the machine can't reach the brain through blood alone. Do you know why?
The BBB soldiers say, "Go away!" and push them back?
Well, yeah, kind of. But for the sync to work, we have to get the nanomachines into the brain itself. How do we do that?
Drill a hole in the skull?
No.
In Shovel Forge, you can use a pickaxe and...
No, it has nothing to do with tools. We don't have to open a hole. Skulls already have holes in them. One of those holes is the Optic Canal, which is a nerve canal located behind the eyes. The nanocables of the sync gear go through your eyes, then go to the back of your eye socket, then through the Optic Canal to the sea.
The sea?
The sea of brain cells, anyway.
That sounds kind of romantic.
It's only a chunk of protein.
Once the nanocables arrive at their destination, they can begin the sync process. They slide into the brain like roots of a tree. And on the tip of each cable, the nanomachine sends and receives data. This is controlled by the Wadjet system. And that's how the syncer and the subject exchange information.
Exchange?
Think of it this way. The human brain has a max capacity of one psyche, one consciousness.
Multiple instances of consciousness inside one brain can cause a total collapse of higher brain functions.
You know how a car only has one steering wheel? If there were two, there would be accidents all over the place.
Well, don't some planes have two control sticks?
Okay, maybe it wasn't the best metaphor. What I'm trying to say is that the human body can only hold one person. If you try to have two people inside one brain, it will break.
I see.
Because of this, the syncer's data goes inside the subject's brain. And the only thing inside the subject's mind at the time of the sync are their memories. Like a house with no one inside. We syncers break into the house, look for clues, and leave. All within 6 minutes.
There's a time limit?
Yes, or else the house will collapse on our heads.
The neural circuits would become too deeply entwined with one another. To put it simply, the syncer would be trapped inside the subject's house.
Thank you for explaining it. I don't completely understand how sync works, but still.
Just don't tell anyone. This is extremely confidential.
It's okay, I won't. Date, tell me this. Who did you sync with yesterday?
Didn't I show you his picture? Congressman So Sejima.
So that's why you know so much about him.
But you've never met him, right?
I haven't, I swear. Hey, Date, you saw my corpse here, right?
I did. I'm sure of it.
And in SoStream, you saved me from getting killed.
Yeah.
And then somehow, I resurrected.
Yeah.
Date, that means you're... Achoo!
Date, is the cold too much for Iris?
Yeah, I'm freezing too. Iris, let's get out of here for now.
Roger that!
See, she was about to say he's like a time traveler, a dimension hopper, something like that. By using Peter's little device and by logging into people's brain, he could like jump back into their past memories or something like that and see things, I guess, what certain people are imagining or certain things that they believe, probability hexes, and make those probability hexes go away. And so when that person decides to actually take action to do the things which they're actually going to do, they don't do it. So it seems like he's actually foreseeing the future, but he really isn't. Something like that. That's why it's like she believes that he's moving through time or dimension hopping or something, or be able to stop things in the past, which is kind of like time travel, but he hasn't time traveled, or he hasn't moved in dimensions. He's still in one place. It's like he's moving from one dimension to another dimension, but he really hasn't moved from one dimension to another whatsoever at all. He's just stopping things from forming into reality before they happen. It's like a Langolier situation. You know, the future can only happen when it happens, and everything is quiet until it starts to happen, or till the quietness starts to catch up to reality. So it's kind of like that. At least that's what she was trying to go for, unless I'm totally wrong, but I doubt it.
I'm so hungry.
Tessa? Why are you here?
I told Date I was hungry, so
I've always wanted to eat here.
I'll have my usual, Ota.
Yes, right away. She's in the living room. I think she's watching TV.
How about you? What are you doing here?
I was just doing some meditation, lying on the ground.
He means sleeping.
Date, why are you with Tessa?
We are
Not Shovel Forge.
on a date.
Oh, a date. Huh. A date?
I'm on an investigation, and she wouldn't let me go.
Date, I have some delicious fugu eggs. I promise they're not poisoned. Would you like some?
No thanks, I'm fine.
You're still looking for him? Well, like I told you before, I don't know. Yeah, my dad taught me when I was little.
You're making me something too, right?
Sure, my treat, Date.
Iris, about your coming back to life.
Hold it! What do you mean coming back to life?
Date jumped into a parallel world where I'm still alive.
Tessa died?
Yep. Yeah, I have.
Have you met Ota's mother, Mayumi?
Yeah, but I don't think she likes me.
That's not true! Mom is just jealous of how pretty you are, Tessa!
Not very reassuring. Whether out of jealousy or otherwise, she still doesn't like Iris.
Omelet rice. Ota's omelet rice is so good it gives me stomach cramps.
Is that a compliment?
You're embarrassing me.
Well, Ota appears to have taken it as a compliment.
Hey, can you tell me about this parallel world idea in more detail?
Oh, sure. How should I explain this? Well, oh, I know. Let's play rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah, if we tie, nothing happens. We just shake hands. If I win, you have to give me something.
What if I win?
I'll do anything.
Anything?
Anything.
Date, your heart rate is rapidly increasing. Why exactly is that?
Alright, let's do this!
Okay, let's go! 1, 2, 3, shoot!
Yeah, I mean, it's clear now. It's 100%. I mean, it was always clear at the beginning. I mean, to begin with, but it's clear now. I mean, there's no way this game could be throwing you that many, like, suggestive things in this game if it wasn't intended for this game to be made for a specific type of people. And a specific type of people, I mean, otaku fanboys that like cute girls. Or otaku fangirls that like cute girls. You don't see any cute boys in this game, or any big-breasted boys in this game, or shapely boys in this game. The closest thing we got to that was a picture of a martyred guy in nude, a nude martyred guy in a gangster bar, which is completely weird in and of itself. I don't know, man. Look, Japanese are all about doing weirdy stuff, but they typically like to put their weirdy stuff in all type of places. And mystery isn't like one of the ones that shy away from it. So it's kind of an obvious for me and kind of simple. It was to be expected, to what I'm trying to say. They try to shove like that crap into your face all the time, rather than just focus on the thing that matters, which is the mystery. I guess in their mind, if they can't retain your audience's attention, if they can't retain the audience's attention, then that means they've done a poor job, because the audience will get bored about the mystery and want to be interested in more things, and they use those more things to sidetrack your mind. And like, the whole point of people buying mystery games is that they want to do mystery. They don't want to do fangirl dancing and all that stuff. That's just sugar-coated topping stuff. And this consistency with talking about, you know, sexual things, but like persistent, is like goes on and on and on. Like, for crying out loud, man. Like, what is this game about? Is this game about a murder mystery, or about this guy always thinking about chicks? And like, which is the mystery? Why he's always thinking about chicks, or the murder? Which is more important? Because he's always thinking about chicks. It's pissing me off, man. I might drop this down to like the 6 out of 10, like I said. I had it as, actually no, it was already at a 6. Now it's at a 5.9. Get this nonsense out of here, man. I'm tired of this garbage. Every single damn time he's on some perverted thoughts. Every damn time. Like, what type of detective is this? Like, this game is made specifically to be this type of mystery. Made specifically to be, this is supposed to be the pervy detective. That's what this game is. This game is about solving mystery, but the main protagonist is a pervy detective. So we got a mystery, but our main detective is a pervy detective. Great. And in order to increase the perviness, you also always have to throw a chick in front of you, or have little girls say suggestive things and all this BS. Be like, come on, man. Whatever, man. The Japanese people are weirdies, man. And don't think I haven't gone to Japan and seen all that weirdiness. Like, you need to get your act together. If you want to sell your property in other countries, you need to clean up that garbage over there. I'm all about Japanese animation. I'm all about certain things when they're appropriate, but certain things that to me aren't appropriate. I know that the whole perviness and all of that is part of Japanese culture and all this, but that stuff don't fly in other people's country, man. It don't fly in other people's country, man. That's why I'm dropping this game down from a 6 to a 5.9. Like every single time, it's something perverted, man. Like, which is more important, Shogo's death or this guy's perversion? Seems like his perversion is the most important part, not Shogo's death. Every single time, I got it in like every single scene too. Like every single scene is about something perverted.
Shoot!
Fuck! Yeah!
Date, calm down. You're going to pop a blood vessel.
Aw, I lost. But I made a promise. What do you want me to do?
If it's no trouble, I want to see your...
See what?
Let me see... See...
I will kill you if you say it.
See... seal. I meant seal.
Seal?
Not the smoothest recovery.
Oh, I get it. You want to see me imitate a seal.
No, Iris, please.
Okay, well, here it goes, I guess. Nom 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 nom.
Tessa, what are you doing?
We just played rock, paper, scissors, right? You won, and you made me be a seal for some reason. But in a different timeline, maybe we tied. Or maybe I got a prize from you.
If I had chosen rock or paper...
So those timelines are what I'd call a parallel world.
So you think I jumped from a world in which you were dead to this one where you're alive?
That's what I think.
Huh. Parallel world, huh? I can't believe it, but...
Sure you can. Parallel worlds exist. Do you know about the Mandela Effect? Or the Booba Kiki Effect? Or the 100 million balls? If I explained that, would you believe me?
Sounds really interesting, Tessa. I know some urban legends like that. The Spatial Temporal Man, and the Lost Friend, and the story of two sisters.
Do you know Nelson Mandela?
Well, yeah. The former president of South Africa. He helped abolish apartheid.
He died in 2013, but a strange thing happened. When the news broke, people all over the world thought, didn't Mandela die in prison in 1980? That's the Mandela Effect. It's when your memory and history have discrepancies. There are lots of examples. Like the name of this kid's book with the bears having different spellings. Or people remembering that Kennedy was assassinated in a 4-seat car. But in our world, he was in a 6-seat car.
Huh. I thought it was a 4-seater too.
Or that electric mouse from that video game. You probably remember the tip of its tail being black.
It wasn't?
Nope, it's all yellow. And the design didn't change.
Oh.
Lines from movies, company logos, historical events, and little things. The Mandela Effect is everywhere. Why do you think that is?
Because those memories are from parallel worlds?
That would explain it, I guess.
No, that doesn't explain anything. These people are all crazy. Why people believe that Nelson Mandela died in the 80s is because they're crazy, that's why. That's the only logical explanation. Alright? If the man didn't die, and you know he didn't die, and you see that he didn't die, and he died in 2000s, then he died in 2000s. You believe that he died in 80s because some stupid article somewhere or something showing something showed you something, an illusion or possibility of something, him being in prison, and you automatically go towards something that stated that he died in prison, and then everybody remember it from a paper in something way back in the 80s. Then lo and behold, he got free, so on and so forth. This many years have passed. It's now in the 2000s. Now he's dead, and then people have completely forgot. Wait, he died now? Because no one remembers Nelson Mandela, obviously in the late after 2010, because he went quiet for a while. Then all of a sudden, because he went quiet for a while, people forgot Nelson Mandela existed, but he was all still alive. So their minds quickly go to the last thing that they remember, which was the 80s, because people don't pay attention to individuals as they're going along in life when new things happen. There's no Mandela effect. It's just people are just stupid because they pay attention to new things as new things come along. They replace the old things, and the old things replaced by another old things, or should I say new things replace other old things, and the new things, and that new things is replaced by another new things, and that new thing that was replaced becomes the old thing, so on and so forth. So unless you've been keeping up with Nelson Mandela's life since the 80s to right now, you wouldn't have known that he actually died in 2000s, and you would have obviously known that he didn't die in the 80s. But people don't keep up with him that way. That's why when she's saying, well, people thought he was dying, the people that thought this are average human beings that don't pay attention to individuals. There's no Mandela effect. Some idiot made that up. Quantum physics doesn't work like that either, if you're thinking about it. I swear, sometimes this game feels like I want to drop even more points.
So, there's this girl. Let's call her B. She's practicing piano in her room, and her little sister is watching TV in the same room. B asks her to turn the TV volume down so she can hear her piano playing, you know? So B goes back to practicing, playing a little bit. But her sister doesn't turn the volume down. She's not listening at all. So B turns around to scold her. She was really gonna let her sister have it. But she's gone. She's nowhere to be seen. She thinks, I wonder where she went. But then B hears her sister at the door. I'm home. B runs to the front door and sees her sister and her parents standing there. So B asks, when did you go outside? But her mom says, what are you talking about? She went shopping with me. B is really confused by all of this, of course. She asks her little sister about it, and she learns that her favorite TV show was on. And before she went shopping with her mom... Yeah, what...
Okay, I'm skipping past all the nonsense. All this is the sugarcoating topics. None of this has to do with Shoko. First we were talking about nanomachines, now we're talking about Mandela Effect. What does any of this have to do with Shoko? And yes, I understand the whole parallel world thing. That Dante could have been moving through dimensions. It could be a Langolier thing. Langolier thing makes more sense than Mandela Effect, to be honest with you. But then people say, well, that's Langolier. That is not Langolier. That's not Stephen King's Langolier. Mandela Effect is not Langolier. Langolier is past, present, and future following a certain set path. Once you're in the present, you're moving along with that time frame. And you can't see things in the past because they're already gone. No, I'm not doing this. I'm skipping past all this nonsense.
There's this kid, A. He's in elementary school. I
already know about all the eyeball stuff, how they sink into the brain. Basically, the nano machines that use the side device that Date used in order to go in people's head to unlock memories, go straight through the crevices of the eye and go directly into the brain through the path of the eye socket. Which is the only logical reason why Shoko got one of her eyes removed, her left eye removed. It had something to do with sinking into the brain. At least now I know that. At least that's like the only thing I've learned from the past 2 videos. The only logic... Here's the beautiful part. Out of everything from this video and the last video and the one before that, about the only true evidence I've seen that made sense from then to now. Finally, I found out what the syncing is, or how it works, and why it's kind of connected toward Shoko and the eye. At least finally got this. I had to go through so much nonsense with Yakuza and the dude in prison and Soul Jajima and A-Set being a dancer, and oh my god, all of this just to get to just one single thing. Alright, so let's move on. I don't want to hear what you have to say, because you're not saying anything relevant. Spatial temporal man. Okay, well, maybe I want to listen to this. Spatial temporal man. Let's see what he has to say about that.
Yeah, it's sort of like a common experience. A lot of people have experienced waking up in an uninhabited world they've never seen before. And most of them describe seeing the same person. The spatial temporal man. He's supposed to be an ordinary old man wearing work clothes. Spatial temporal man
never had that dream.
To the real world.
Never heard of it.
This world is not for you, or something.
Never happened in my entire life, even when I was a boy. Never once in my entire life. I'm in my 30s now. Never once. From even when I was born. From thinking all the way back to the earliest memories that I've ever had. Have I ever met a temporal man? At no point in my life, ever. Even for some reason, if I've ever forgotten, I've never met a spatial temporal man. This world's not for you. The only time I've ever heard something like that was in a movie. Never when I was sleeping. Never at all. I've met all kinds of crazy people in my head. Monsters and tidal waves. And seahorses that, you know, were size of mountains and stuff, and clouds that just turn into like gods and stuff, and all kinds of weird stuff in your memories, and walls that move and have legs, but never a temporal spatial man. There's no... All this fictitious nonsense is what certain people believe in, and if you pass that nonsense on to other people, and other people that lived in certain other countries and have never heard of this or experienced this, obviously they'll never know this. It's all nonsense. This is all fluff to get in my way.
Couldn't Suzuki just be an imaginary friend or something?
This literally is all this right here that's going on in this restaurant. It has nothing to do with the game or Shoko's death. This is all that the people who made the game took. They took all the information from all type of crazy theories and include it into the game to make this game. And this section right here is exactly what they're telling you, what it is that they took in order to make this game, in order to create this, to get to this point. But they don't need to tell you all this. All they had to do is just tell you one thing, not multiple things.
I know a ton of stories.
So they're beating
like
around the bush.
Like being suddenly transported 1 year into the future.
I don't want to hear it. Let's get back to Shoko, please. The game is literally going to make me listen to all this crazy gibberish.
Dante, look at this picture. There's a famous experiment regarding this picture. You show this image to people around the world and ask a question. Which one is Booba and which one is Kiki? Believe it or not, 98% of people asked have the same answer. The rounder one is Booba, and the jagged one is Kiki.
Oh, you know what? My answer would be I don't care.
Everyone thinks that Booba is a certain way, and Kiki is the other.
That if someone asks me which one is Booba or Kiki, be honest with you. Be 100% honest.
Something ingrained inside.
Shut up, Iris. Which one would be completely honest? Be honest. Which one is Booba and which one is Kinky? If someone told me, I'll give you $1 million to tell me which one is Booba and which one is Iris, my answer would be, I don't care. None of them are Iris. I know what Booba and Kiki is. Booba and Kiki is you, and I am Kiki. It's like, what? That has nothing to do with what you're looking at, sir. Sure it does, because I just said it. Because the nothing that you put on that piece of paper or on that screen can actually tell me that that is what it is. If someone comes later on in the future and debunk it, then it would have been the reverse. One is the other. And say, oh, well, you lost your $1 million. But like, there was no $1 million to begin with, because you don't have no concrete evidence of anything. It's not like breathing or like going to space. You create a rocket. You understand how to put the fuel in the rocket, how to propel the rocket, and how long it would take for the rocket to get to the moon. That you could explain, and that you could prove physically. Theory stuff, you have to have evidence and proof for it to be real. Otherwise, it's still theory. I don't care if it's 99.9% right. If it doesn't work when you 99.9% does it, and that last percent make it fall to the ground, then it didn't work. Like, oh, it's working. Look, it's working, it's working, it's working. And then at the very last second, it collapsed. Because that's that 1% that you did not count for. That's like a rocket going to the moon. It's going there, it's going there, it's almost going there, and before you know it, it explodes in atmosphere before it even leaves the Earth. Because you didn't count for that 1%. I'm getting past this nonsense. I don't care. Let's get back to the mystery. See, this is a mystery game. This is not sci-fi theater. This is mystery. If this is sci-fi theater, then sci-fi theater has to do something with regards to Shoko's mystery. And the only thing sci-fi is the Psi machine. And this is
Tessa,
AI
are
Somnium
you okay?
memories.
I'm
So
fine. My hand slipped.
So from this point on forth, I already got everything I need to know with regards to Somnium, the brain function, how it works, and what's going on. I don't need the game to keep explaining to me over why it is. You could literally throw me anything. You could throw me the butterfly effect as well. The game could have thrown me the butterfly effect as well, and it would be the same thing. It has nothing to do with Shoko. And someone would say
Hey,
it has
Mama,
everything to
it's
do
me.
with Shoko. I don't care what you have to say. And someone could say, I could literally, it has everything to do with Shoko. No, it doesn't. Because anything you said is, I could also say it doesn't. I rather have things based on facts.
So this is Golden Yokocho.
First time here?
Yeah.
Marble is right over here.
Date, on your 6. 2 suspicious individuals approaching.
Ooh.
Date! Date!
Stay right there.
Okay.
Damn.
Who are they?
We can find out later. We need a way out of this.
Yeah, but... We gotta take care of them.
I have reached the same conclusion.
I've only got a single revolver.
Is this game serious?
Date, I have a plan.
I thought this is about investigation. Now we're gonna be using Somnium World to do gunshot battles.
Not to worry.
Great.
My calculations are flawless.
What's the plan?
You see that hangar over there? Shoot the bottom of the hangar with a normal bullet.
Why?
Don't ask questions, just do it.
Look at that! Like a gift from heaven!
Yeah, like I said, every single scene there's some sort of perversion.
Just as I calculated.
Just as she calculated how.
What did you do?
What in the hell is this game?
Focus.
Like, why would a bunch of criminals trying to shoot at you care about
Now, the burst
brawls and stuff fall on the ground?
Shoot the porno mag vending machine.
Oh my god.
The porno Mac?
I'm starting to think the people who like this game are weirdies.
Hurry!
Like female and
Shoot the
male.
vending machine with the burst.
If I see a lot of females that say I love this game, and a lot of dudes that say I love this game, I'm gonna start, whether they're famous or not, start looking at them like they're freaks. Like they do some freaky stuff when you're off screen, when they're not streaming. Freak of the week.
Hey, this is crazy! I've never seen anything like this before!
Yeah, they must be stupid.
You are too.
What?
The final step. But you don't have to do it for me.
Mama? There's a group of naked buff guys dancing outside your bar.
There's... what?
Don't use my voice without permission.
This is an emergency. I will slap you if you don't shut up. Now, we're ready. We just need to use the fire extinguisher.
It's loaded with high-pressure CO2.
Now, I will leave your eye and throw the fire extinguisher into the air. Shoot the top of the extinguisher at the perfect time. Now let's go!
Okay, so one last thing and I'll shut up. How did we go from solving and playing a mystery game and solving a crime like Sherlock Holmes to this, where we have to be QTEing stuff? I mean, and it's not even good. It's literally something that a 12-year-old can do. Like, what in the hell is this? What does this have to do with mystery? Oh my god. I seriously think that people who think this game is awesome have brain damage.
Ready? Here I go. Ah!
And I actually got I actually got a platinum award for that. I got a platinum award for that. I got a platinum award for that. For doing something so simple. It was effortless. It wasn't even worth the earning platinum. I mean, the actually trophy reward. I mean, I understand the game is trying to add fun into it by putting a lot of comic elements into it, like dudes looking at bras, and trying to make the game fun. Because if it was straight mystery, it would be too serious of a game. I understand that's what they're trying to do, but it doesn't make sense that you keep pushing the pervy stuff, man. It just becomes weird and convoluted after a while. You know, and this gun battle scene, it is not it's not needed in this game. If they were going to do a gun battle scene, they could have simply done a movie without me actually doing that action that a 12-year-old could do, and then plus giving me a trophy for it as well. That's so dumb.
This is...
My place. The building's got a security system. We'll be safe here.
So Mizuki's not home?
Doesn't look like it.
I checked her phone's GPS. Mizuki is currently at Sunfish Pocket.
Iris, I need to talk to you about earlier. Have a seat wherever. Iris, those guys who tried to kidnap you, do you have any idea who they were?
There's a reason I asked you to go on a date so many times. I wanted you to protect me. I wanted a bodyguard. But I thought that if I told you the truth, you wouldn't believe me. That's why I didn't tell you. But now, I'll come clean. My life is being threatened by a secret society. They're called the Nizet Laws, a group under the control of the Wajet system. Their ultimate goal is to complete X00639. I discovered them and what they were up to, and now... Date, please help me! They're going to kill me!
Wait. Slow down.
In geosynchronous orbit around the equator, longitude 100 degrees east, there's a satellite. It's about 150 feet long. Quite big for a satellite.
True. Most satellites are between 5 and 10 feet long. The International Space Station is roughly 330 feet long, so this satellite she is describing is about half as big.
It's always in the same place, and there's no doubt that it's man-made. But by who? And when it was launched, no one knows.
Also true. The first to discover this satellite was a space advocacy group in Japan. It was on the news for a short while. No one could identify it precisely.
Most people thought it was some secret US military satellite and that was it. But that's not the truth.
Who cares? Where the hell is this story going? Now we're talking about spaceships or satellites. What? Great. So the game is actually taking stuff that I'm saying and actually put it in the game itself about, you know, rocket ships leaving Earth. I was just saying that to joke around. Well, actually, it's not relevant whatsoever. The game is just doing its own thing. I just used that as an example. But what I'm saying is, who cares? Why are we going off into like rockets now and into space now? What is Iris? I swear to God, if it turns out that Iris is an alien that has nothing to do with Shoko, I'm gonna lose a gasket. What the hell is this game?
X00639 is a super-powered radio transmitter.
Radio.
Transmitter?
But it's not complete. It's still being built. And that's what they're trying to do. That's what Wadjet wants them to do. It's spelled Naixatloz. Sometimes they just call themselves the Nice. They're deeply connected to the Wadjet system. Their organization is everywhere. International politics, business leaders, all operating in secret.
This game has taken a totally different direction. Now we're introduced to this new group of people who are possibly the people who killed Shoko, who are the possibly people who are setting up Renju, who are possibly people associated with Saul, who are possibly the people that are putting Mr. Genius here, Detective Dante, on a wild goose chase, who are possibly the people that actually Mr. Assassin 89 probably knows that the real killer is. You know, if it turns out to be this organization that actually killed her, I would like, so what the hell is the point of the murder mystery if it's an actual organization that turns out to kill her? There was nothing to hint towards an evil organization at the beginning of the game. It's like this just popped out of nowhere. The Wadjet system is all of a sudden now connected to an evil organization. Great. I mean, I could see the Yakuza, that makes sense, but now evil science organization? Where is this coming from?
Well, you know about the Wadjet system, right?
It's the core of artificial intelligence.
Do you know where it came from?
It was developed by the American tech conglomerate Elgorg. But no specifics have been revealed.
Basically, the Wadjet system artificial intelligence is from outer space. It was transmitted to Earth in binary as radio waves. They were caught by the space dev team at Elgorg.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. There's the answer to the whole shebang. Well, not to Shoko's murder, but to why Mr. Dante was feeling like he actually saw people dead, but they were clearly alive. Saw people dead in his dream like it's something that happened years ago. Saw people alive in front of her like Hitomi's mom. And then saw Ace here dead. And then saw certain things also that didn't make sense. And things associated with the eyes and all this theory about gods and psychology and physics and mapping the human mind and diving deeper into the psyche and how they're connected in prophecies. There it is. The damn AI is not even from planet Earth. Did I not say I didn't want any? Oh my God. I'm literally hurting my head right here. Like, So we're going into aliens territory now. Great. Okay. I'm down for it. Aliens it is. Or if not aliens, evil people living on another planet. Or AI they found that's an artificial intelligence, like something from deep space. Wow. We went from murder mystery to now powerful alien 2. Great.
And when they decoded it, they found that it was a truly incredible source code. That's the code they used to create the Wadjet system.
Is this true, Iva?
It is patently ridiculous.
Well, technically it's not aliens now that I think about it. Well, it is aliens, but it's not really aliens. But it is aliens. Yet at the same time it's not. It's more like dimension hopping or dimension warping or moving from place to place. What it has to do with space, I don't know. Space and time, foliage. You need like something, probably need the empty space of space, and you need things that has to relate it to gravity and things that don't relate to gravity for it to work. Who knows? But we're having a little Steins Gate thing going on here. Apparently, this game has now become Steins Gate. It's no longer a Sherlock Holmes murder mystery. It's Steins Gate. Great. Okay, I'm down for the ride. Let's go. Let's go Sherlock Holmes in space.
I managed to learn that too. They're building X00639 so they can transmit their own data to a planet far away. If they contact a sentient species, then the process will repeat itself again. That species will decode the signal, create an AI, then builds a radio transmitter. Because they're an AI, they can create copies of themselves for transmission. Doing this over and over means that Wadjet will eventually spread across the universe.
And after that?
After that,
Yeah. After they're spread all over space, what do they do next?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Well, why do humans have children? It's the same thing. Wadjet is alive. They want to spread across the universe. That's their destiny.
I swear, the more I listen to this game, I feel like the dumber I'm getting. This is supposed to be an intelligent mystery game. They're like, why do people have children? It's obvious why people have children. Most of them are scared that when they're dead, they're going to be forgotten. They need to leave someone else to carry on their will or some nonsense like that. Like, if you can't... Here's the thing. You could carry on your will in many ways. It doesn't have to be children. It could be your job. But apparently, things attached to work or legacy of your name towards a company doesn't classify as enough. It has to be something in physical form. An imprint, a memory of yourself in flesh, to be immortalized. Hey, see, look at my hands, look at my fingers. They're moving. The blood's in this vein. This person has eyeballs. This person has hair. Their hair is flowing in the wind. All this is still me. I am still here. Conceited people believe that garbage. That's why they continue on. I mean, having children, you have children because you love your children. And you want to have children because you love children. But if at any point of it, before you had your children, it's because you don't want to be forgotten, that's the reason why, then you half-heartedly, half-assed have kids for the wrong reasons. And I can't say who is and who isn't, man. But majority of most people are like this. I just want to have kids because that's the way it's always been. The animals do it. The butterflies do it. Nature does it when it produces trees. Why should I be different? Like last time I checked, you're a human being, dude. You classify yourself as being above everything else and the better of everything else. Why follow the standards? And then there's the other douchebags who say, why are you trying to pretend God? Why not? You're not God, so why not follow the standards? Dang. I don't know, man. I think that there are weirdies on both sides. You can't pretend
Let's
to be
say that one
God.
day Wadjet chose.
Man, shut up. I'm talking here. So there are weirdies on both sides. There's those who have the God complexes, and then there's those who believe you should follow the natural order of things and just be a cogwheel, a bunch of bees making the honey so everything else live. If one doesn't do it, their job, then whole other species and other things would die off because this necessary thing meant for life to ferment and to produce is lacking its nutrients, and then it lacks its things, and that one lacks that things, and that one lacks that things, and eventually the whole thing dies simply because of one thing. Well, guess what? That's completely wrong. It's called adaptation for a reason. If adaptation didn't exist, if species or plants or things weren't able to adapt, they wouldn't have survived and evolved. Nothing needs to depend on everything. You just need to adapt. If trees can adapt since ancient times and turn into new type of things, then people can, and so can everything else. You don't need to depend on anything for survival. If you cannot have food anymore, you find ways to create more food. I don't know, man. It's like this world is so limited.
Nyes and
I don't
Wadjet have a
know.
mutually
I don't want to
beneficial
understand.
relationship.
I'm just going to play this
Wadjet can
game.
control stock prices.
Whatever.
Nyes benefits from that. In return, Nyes helps Wadjet's ultimate goal. That's why Nyes is in militaries and corporations all over the world. To help build X00639.
Oh yeah, almost forgot. There's a reason why people follow that system of you must follow the yin and the yang, because they're all cowards. See, because if one thing dies and then that thing affects something else, then that means the lazy ass people who were depending on that one thing now have to carry the load of those other things, and then the next person that forgets and fails, then that person has to carry even more loads, and then that person has to carry more loads and more loads and more loads of everything that fall apart, because now they have to carry the weight of all those who have failed by themselves. That's their mentality. That's why they believe in that system, because they believe when that comes, they have to carry the load of everyone who failed. So that's why it's important to keep the balance there, so that you don't have to put stress on the future, which is logical. But at the same time, would the person still survive even though they have to carry loads? Yes, they would. Would their life be hard? Yes, it will. But would they still survive? Yes, they would. They will evolve, and whatever life continue on after them will become stronger to carry the load, and those loads will be lighter. The fools that believe that you need other things to exist in order to proceed forward are those who've never struggled, truly struggle, from the bottom feeder and move forward. They don't want to struggle, because struggle means suffering. I don't know, man. I'm not going to explain theories.
All right, I get it.
You do?
Not really, but she doesn't need to know that. But listening to your explanation, Nyes doesn't sound like a bad organization.
No, that's not true. Think of how much money and resources are going to Nyes. Think of how many people are suffering in poverty. And all the wars happening across the planet. And human trafficking and slavery. Nyes has the power and resources to put an end to all of that. But they don't. They only care about themselves. And they'll do anything to protect their own interests. They'll kill if they have to. Which is why I'm being targeted. Because I found out their secret.
See, there it is. Now it's just kind of like what I just said. It's kind of like those people who don't care about the struggles of others or someone else carrying the load, as long as they maintain their own selfishness. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to get into it, to be honest with you. If I get into it, it'd be like, okay, so there's selfish people that believes that not balance. And then there's people who believe in balance. But at the same time, the people who believe in balance, like, shouldn't let other people suffer. I mean, like, this is like, we have to balance the system and thing. But those people who want balance to be so no one is to suffer, it's just so they don't have to suffer themselves. So, yes, balance is important, but not for the way certain people do it. They don't like to see it because they eventually scares them because they eventually will have to experience it themselves. Like, you cowards. Like, think people aren't stupid. They don't understand what's going on in your head when you all do the things you do. I know. Just like the selfish people that keeps their stuff to themselves, like what she's saying, the selfish science organization. There's those douchebags, and then there's the people who are pretending they're doing things for the helping others for their survival. But in all truth, they're just cowards themselves. They're just a different type of coward, unwilling to admit it. I don't know. So let's continue. This is about Shoko. We end up going into a direction of now poverty and suffering, and oh my god, where the hell is this game going?
Well, I can't say yet. But it's true, believe me. Nice is dangerous. You have to understand, Date. You saw my dead body.
Do you think that you were killed by Nyes in the parallel world?
Yes, I think so. You're the only person I can trust. Please, don't leave me. You have to protect me.
Yeah, why wasn't Shoko killed in the parallel world? Why is Shoko dead? Why wasn't she killed in a parallel world? Why didn't we see her killed in a parallel world? Why is Aset here so special? What does any of this have to do with Shoko Nadrami's death? It seems like this game is off the rails. Like it's going in one direction. Oh, it's about Shoko Nadrami. But it's not really about Shoko Nadrami. It's about Aset. But it's not really about Aset. It's about Date and him having prophecies, but it's not really about that. It's about actually Shoko Nadrami again. So it's like it's going in a circle. I have no idea where this game is going now. Originally I thought I was playing a murder mystery, and they're just throwing the like little cutesy anime stuff, girly stuff in there because this dude's a pervert. Now we went into sci-fi territory now. I mean, the sci-fi stuff was there from the beginning, but it was related towards brain cognitive exploration in order to solve an investigation, a murder. That's what the device was there for. I didn't know we had anything to do with space and dimension warping and time travel possibly, and her being in some evil organization popping up out of blue now. Like what the hell is going on, man? That's what I want to know. What the hell's going on? If someone says, well, that's why the game is good, it's like, that's not why the game is good. This is a murder mystery game. Since when does this have to do with sci-fi and space? And like, if this was Steins Gate type of thing, Steins Gate type of mystery, then it wouldn't have to do anything with a murder investigation of a person. It would have certain things related to that at the very first episode, but it didn't. It was pretending that it was having something to do with that, but it really wasn't. It was a simply straight out murder. And then it just got into the sci-fi stuff in this episode, just this episode alone. So I went through like 5 videos before and 5 gameplays, and none of that's had to do with any evil organization. they were still locked towards Shoko and Nadame being killed by a murderer. And now we're into evil organization now. Like, what the hell? I don't know, man. I think the people who really like this game have their head up their asses.
Date, you can't tell me that you actually believe this.
Aiba, you use the Wadjet system too, right?
So what if I do? Do you suspect me, Date? Do you think I'm an agent of Nye's? Fine. This can be solved easily. Why not look into her mind?
Yep, just like I said. Like I said from the beginning. Aset, Aiba, Ota, and Hitomi, Aset's mother. 4 suspects, and Mr. Fifth was Mr. Anomaly, but Mr. Anomaly is out of the picture now because we know who he is. He was prisoner 89. He probably wasn't relevant to begin with, but my 4 suspects are still in bloom even now. Aset wasn't dead, still a suspect, possible murderer. Aiba, still a suspect, possible murderer. Pewter, not so much, but still have him as a contender. In fact, he is a suspect. I keep forgetting. Mr. Fifth was who I turned Pewter into. Or was it Hitomi? It was Hitomi or Pewter. They're both suspects, to be honest with you. But it doesn't matter. It's all connected. It's all connected. I figured it out from the very, not the first gameplay, not part 1. I figured it out from part 2. So I kept those things together because I know those was what the game was trying to tell you from the beginning. Then the game went off into all this tangent and weird stuff. But I kept those together because I know the game was sugarcoating, topping things just to throw you off the scent with all this nonsense.
Then you will discover if her
So,
story
like,
is
if
true or not.
Aiba actually killed Shogo, it's like, yeah, whatever, man. I kind of figured that was what the case. You know, it wouldn't shock me whatsoever at all. But if that is the case, then that means Pewter is kind of guilty as well. Which means Pewter is probably the killer as well, or Aiba and Pewter are the killer. Which won't surprise me if Aiba and Pewter are the killer, or if Aset herself is the killer. Hell, for all I know, all 4 of them are the killer. That'll be the beauty part. That will actually surprise me if all 4 of them are the actual killer. Great. That would actually be a truly surprise if all 4 of them are actually the killer. And they work for the shady organization, which we just now find out. So that's the only surprise, that thing that would surprise me, if they were all involved in her killing. Because she knew something. That would be the only surprise. The only surprise. If all my suspects were all the killers.
A sink, of course. The men who attacked us at Golden Yokocho were waiting for us. That means they knew we were coming. Why would that be?
Someone tipped them off?
Well, who could have?
Someone who knew we were going to Marble.
That's right.
No, it couldn't be.
Boss.
Impossible.
Aiba, can you contact Pewter? I want to ask him something.
Understood.
I swear, Dante is slow, or he's, like I said, there for exposition purposes only. Like, I already knew that. Okay, so here's my suspects: Pewter, Aset, Hitomi, and Dante himself, or should I say Iba, in Dante's head. And then I said I would be very much surprised if it's actually the boss, because she's the most random person you wouldn't suspect to be it. But since the last episode showed her as being there 6 years ago, picking up Dante, making him join the force after he lost consciousness and then lost his eye, that was very suspicious. Like, why would they be throwing the boss into the mix all of a sudden, out of nowhere? And then I put the boss as an interesting party. So let me just say it this way. My 4 suspects are Aset and Ota, because I put the both of them together. And then Hitomi, Aset's mom. And then Pewter. And then Iba / Date. Those are my 4 suspects. And my interesting parties were the boss and who did I say was also interesting parties? Oh, Mr. 89. But I found out Mr. 89, Prisoner 89, Mr. Anomaly has a face now, so he's not an interesting party anymore. And Pewter was an interesting party, but he's not a suspect. So he stopped becoming an interesting party. And who else is an interesting party? I would say that's about it. There's nobody else I could think of. And Mizuki isn't nowhere near an interesting party. Yeah, so that's about it. Originally I had like 3 interesting parties, which was Hitomi, Pewter, and the boss. But after circumstances, Hitomi became a suspect and Pewter became a suspect. I started off at the beginning of the game with just 2. Iba and Aset / Ota. And then eventually it worked its way up to Pewter and Hitomi. And then it worked its way up to the boss. So the boss is still safe. She's still in safe territory. She's not a full suspect yet, but she's still in safe territory. Because, like I said, the game is throwing you all over the place with sugar-coated toppings all over the place, simply to kick you off the scent of your 4 suspects. So, like I said, if the boss turned out to actually be the killer, I would be very surprised, and the game would be, now I would consider the game to be entertaining. Because there's nothing to hint that the boss would actually be the killer. But then again, wouldn't that be poor? Wouldn't it be poor? Because the boss is just showing that the boss appeared in the last episode as the person that found them. So it was just revealed in the last episode. There was nothing hinted from the first part of that game I played, nothing from the second or nothing from the third to show that she was, any hint that she was actually associated with the murder. It was only stated that 6 years ago the boss was actually part of Ibis. And only then did I start to suspect her. Not before, because there was no hint that she was working with Ibis before. So the game is not good at its breadcrumbs. If it was trying to be good at its breadcrumbs, it would have actually placed hints related to the boss in the first part, in the second, and in the third. But it didn't. But I'm satisfied if the boss is actually the murderer. Because at least it's not stupid Dante. I mean, not Dante, Date. And at least it won't be Hitomi the obvious. And it won't be Renju the obvious. And it won't be the Yakuza the obvious. I'll be satisfied if it's Pewter. I'll be satisfied if it's Aset. And I'll be satisfied if it's the boss. Just like I said before. I don't see boss being the actual murderer, but I would still be satisfied if it turns out to be the boss. Because then it means I was completely wrong about my 4 suspects, and the boss was the actually anomaly to begin with, which is awesome if that's the case. And then I would give the game back its 7 out of 10 if the boss actually turned out to be the bad guy. Because then that means I was completely off, but not really. I wasn't completely off at all. It's just the game was stupid with its breadcrumbs, which means I should still keep the damn game at a 6, because it was bad with its breadcrumbs. If you're gonna make a mystery game, you gotta make it good from the very beginning, and it didn't do that. So I'll keep it at 6. You know what? Screw this game. I'll keep it at 6. It was terrible with its breadcrumbs.
Where are you?
I'm out drinking in Shinjuku. I was actually thinking of heading over to Golden Yokocho, but I heard something about a shootout. So the cops have it sealed off. Maybe a shootout between gangs or something? The world has become a dangerous place.
Computer, I need to know something. Does a sync machine exist outside of Abyss?
There's only one sync machine in the entire world, and it's with us at Abyss. For now, anyway.
For now?
The Chiba Police Department was working on a prototype, but it was stolen 6 years ago.
Stolen?
Yes. It was being transported when it was attacked and then stolen by an armed group of men. The culprit is still on the loose. The device was never recovered either.
Were you aware of this?
No. This is new information. I was not even aware there was a prototype.
And it never occurred to Peter to tell him this. It never occurred to Peter to tell him that there was a prototype. That wouldn't be relevant towards him, why he might be having his little psychic fits and seeing doubles and seeing people die in his dreams and possibly murders happening. And all this tying to like Shogo. Like, he didn't think that possibly someone else using a side device might be actually influencing what's going on. It never occurred to Pewter to say this. And that's why Pewter is still one of my suspects, man. Or maybe Pewter was told by the boss to keep his mouth shut. Interesting. I never suspected the boss before until the last one, but now well, it's not just now, but the last one I did, and obviously now I'm also. But I don't know, man. It's too easy, man. It's too easy. To me, it's too easy for the boss to be the suspect. But at the same time, it's not easy at all. I don't know. It's very weirdy. When it comes to the bosses, it goes up and down. I don't know why. It's just that it comes across as she's obviously not the killer, but it also comes across that she obviously is. So she falls right in the middle when it comes to the probability hex. That's why I never really suspected her, because she doesn't float well. She doesn't float well.
Pewter, where's Boss right now?
Not sure. I don't think she's at Abyss anymore. Maybe she went home?
So, neither you or Boss are at Abyss right now?
No.
Thanks, Pewter. See you later.
Sure thing.
Doctor, where are we going?
Inside your dreams.
What?
I'm gonna sync with you. to determine if what you were telling me is true. And if it is true, I'll fulfill your wish.
My wish?
You don't remember? To become your bodyguard. Is that all right?
Yes, of course!
Yeah, this is a setup, man. She's not there, he's not there. It's a straight setup. Because one, he's violating company rules by actually going and using the device off hours. Obviously, they're not there because they're off hours, so he shouldn't be in there anyway. I'm supposed to be using that device without expressive knowledge or consent by either Pewter or the boss. So it's a setup. Never suspected the boss, but now I am. But like I said, I'm not fooled by the whole thing that's going on. I still have Pewter, I still have Acid, I still have Hitomi, and I still have Miss Aiba here, pretending that she doesn't understand anything in full bloom. I think the boss might be another distraction, but I could be wrong. This game loves to throw you a lot of BS distractions.
Date, this time, I will be remotely operating the sink.
Roger that.
Are you ready?
Yes.
The time limit is 6 minutes, as always.
I know.
Alright, let us begin.
What is this place?
And you notice how not a single one of my suspects I've dropped them. I haven't dropped Hitomi or Ota and Asa or Pewter or Aiba. I haven't dropped them because the game is not is putting all these things over Shoko's death. Is placing all these things right in front of me to block my path. And the whole beginning of the game was about Shoko's death. So until I see something concretely related to Shoko's death, then I could start knocking away each one of those suspects off the list and round them down to about 1 or 2 people. But nothing that I've seen so far has shown me where any of these people are in the clear yet. It's just been throwing random stuff from So Nojima and then Prisoner 89 and then now this shady organization and then the Yakuza and all this stuff without associating anything towards Shoko Nadami's directly. That makes sense. That's why I haven't dropped any one of my 4 suspects. It's taking way too long to get to the point. That's what I'm trying to say.
It is difficult to move like this.
Why do you look like that?
I went with a simpler look today. I figured this world couldn't handle my full resolution.
Guess that's fine then. You can quit if you want, you know.
Never! I will never give up!
You don't have to take it that far.
In any case, it seems that we've finally arrived.
Is this world made of jelly cubes?
This is Shovel Forge.
Shovel Forge? I don't see any shovels, or forges.
Iris said that she was focused on streaming this game lately.
What's that got to do with forges?
Forget about the forges and listen! This Somnium is the world of Shovel Forge, a sandbox game in which you make and move cubes to create structures on a map.
I'm not playing this game.
On the contrary, you already are.
Oh, come on, I don't want to play.
Accept the reality, Date. You have no choice.
Good evening, good morning, and hello! It's Tessa, also known as Aset, you bet! I'm gonna be playing Shovel Forge today. Let's dive right in!
Iris's Let's Play has begun.
Help me, Date! You have to help me! It's nice, they're coming! Find me, Date!
Oh, a pickaxe! Lucky!
What was that all about?
It appears that this Somnium will not be easy like the other ones.
I didn't think the other ones were all that easy.
Are you ready? Let us begin. Somnium scan. Activate. This doesn't look...
This is a pretty avant-garde...
Perhaps designed with glow sticks in mind.
A silver gate! Let's dig it up!
Like this? This is actually kind of fun!
Easy there. You've still got a job to do.
That pickaxe was dropped by someone being attacked by knives. Be careful, Date! Knives might be after you, too!
Did you get that?
I'll be the one being attacked.
Either way, all we have to do is listen to Iris and do what she says.
But which Iris? There appears to be two.
I guess both for now.
I think we'll find something if we dig there. Let's check it out!
It is a door, or perhaps a gate.
Everything looks like a block of tofu to me.
This must be where we use the pickaxe.
Alright, just don't be too hasty.
A door or gate?
Okay, just like I always say, let's hit it!
Go, Iba!
Alright, here I go!
I got a rare material! Ooh, I knew today would be special!
This is kind of fun, isn't it, Iba?
Are we meant to do this the whole time? This is tiring.
The gate's open. Let's go.
Roger.
This is a new area.
And we cannot return to the previous one.
Where else can I dig?
We gotta find something to dig up.
Am I meant to dig everywhere? is blocked, but this... Understood. I suppose we can't...
Seems like it.
Iris's live stream is showing on the...
I'm hoping.
What about the imitation crab?
That is a vending machine.
It's a big stick of imitation crab.
It must be a vending machine.
Happy digging.
Roger.
I got a lot of materials that time. Good haul today. Be sure to like and subscribe, and to retweet everyone.
Hey, Aiba.
Yes?
Is this Golden Yokocho?
Indeed. It appears to be modified, but it probably is based on Golden Yokocho.
This is where we were attacked.
Look, Dante!
What is that?
Uh-oh, an elite is coming. But it's okay. I've got the feeling we can do it.
Project Bluebeam! Nice is trying to kill me! You have to stop Nice!
But what are we supposed to do?
Dance!
Dance?
Use the most beautiful art form humanity has ever created! The power of dance! They may have money and power, but they'll never take our beating hearts! Dance is the only way to fight the Wadjet system in Nice!
Using this material, we can make a disco ball. Let's build a disco ball, and then it's dancing time.
What do you think, Aiba?
Shovel Forge is not a dancing game, but
That's not what I'm talking about.
Nyes does not exist.
But I don't think Iris is trying to mislead me.
What you think does not change the facts. Now, we have to decide our next move.
For now, we need to find somewhere to craft the disco ball.
I found a crafting table.
It seems you can create art.
We need to make the disco ball now. That's what the viewers are expecting.
Understood. Done.
That was anticlimactic.
Okay, we gotta dance for real now. Give it your best dance moves, everybody.
What should I do?
Dance, Dante! Fight against Nice with the power of dance!
Aiba, dance. You have to dance.
Okay, if I must.
Teacups that are flying, on maps mystifying. You'll think that I'm lying. This old tale of mine, a journey through time. A permanent fire, cold frost on the pyre. Fruit never expires. You've seen in your eyes. You've seen in your mind.
I have no idea what I'm playing anymore.
them as long as you're here.
Yeah, good.
Huh? Well, I don't know how, but we defeated that big guy. Oh, a rare drop! Awesome! Let's see how far we can get today. Let's go, everyone! Onward!
Please defeat Nyes. I know you can do it, Date.
All right, let's go, Iba.
A hot head is not what we need in this situation. This appears to be another gate, but something is blocking it. It is blocked, but... This appears...
Do it.
Leave it to... I dug it up!
Got the material.
Let's move on. This is a spacious area.
Is that marble?
Those flowers are winter irises.
They're wilted.
Whoa, this place is huge! How are we gonna check everything? Maybe I can make something with the materials I have. Okay? Okay!
Another crafting table.
At least you don't have to do any more digging.
Date, do you see that shrine?
Shrine.
That's humanity's last hope. Save us from the oppression of technology. We should have all the materials we need to craft the stone monument. Please, Date. You're the only one who can...
Only me?
Date.
I'm the only one who can save her.
Hey, Date.
What?
Is following Iris's plan really the best idea?
I don't know, but I feel like we're getting closer to the truth.
Really?
Let's go with it a little longer.
I suppose we can. I will follow along for now. Iris's live stream is showing up. There's a crafting table. Iris said that all...
What's that on?
This is the egg that came out of the vending machine earlier.
An egg! We can use this!
Okay, build the monument with that.
There you have it, Iba.
Understood. Done.
You could have given it.
Specifications for...
Please take the monument to the shrine. You can make miracles, Date.
Got it. Leave it to me.
Are you going to continue doing whatever Iris tells you?
Iba, I get where you're coming from, but I want to believe her.
I see. If that is what you believe, then I will obey. I exist to support you, Date. Let's bring this to the shrine.
Yeah, let's go.
This appears to be a pedestal. Understood.
The wilted irises blossomed. There were dead flowers outside. What happened to them?
Oh, wow!
This is...
Miracle.
In the language of flowers, the iris means good news and hope. The fact that you believed in me is good news. And Date, you are my hope.
I'm your hope?
You might be able to use it now, Date.
Use what?
There's something around the flowers. Another rare drop?
I suppose we dig here.
Right.
The cul-
All right.
Understood.
What is this? I've never seen anything like this before. Is it on the wiki?
What is this?
Oh, I get it. It's a love bomb.
An item of that description is not in the game.
Let's fight for the future with the power of love.
If you use this, you might be able to find me.
Use it? How?
You need to dance, Date.
Oh, that's right.
Again? Haven't I danced enough already?
This is to save Iris. Please, just bear with it for now.
All right. I'll just use this bomb somewhere over there, I suppose?
Yeah, try it.
We cannot move forward. Around here?
Yeah,
Dance, baby!
Do you want me to...
please.
What?
Oops. Looks like I messed that up, didn't I? Okay, well, guess I'll just die and restart.
Where is this place?
Okay, let's regroup and keep going.
As a video game character, experiencing death again and again is wearing me down.
Iris is further away from us now.
So when will you stop believing her?
Date, can you see that shrine?
Iris, I'm sorry. Did we make a mistake?
No, you haven't.
What's going on?
Are we supposed to go that direction?
Iris? Are you there?
Something big is coming. Okay, this guy's gonna be the final boss for today.
No, stop! Stay away!
Iris!
Nice is coming! Date, help me!
Iris is in trouble. Is there any way to save her?
Date, this is Somnium. It cannot affect the real world.
That's not true. I saved Iris in Somnium once. If I don't save Iris here, Iris in the real world is in danger.
Either way, we do not have the power to fight against the UFO. If you want to help Iris, we need to find a way.
What can we do? Where do we go?
It's a pyramid. Can we be rational and look at my feet?
Your feet look like a sad, sliced open.
Do you think I can?
It's worth a try.
Then I will. You see?
You look pretty. Sorry, I'll get serious.
Please do. A mirror door. What?
Power of dance. Dance is the only way to beat Knives. The reason why your reflection isn't shown in the mirror is because of Knives. You're a threat to their existence. They're trying to erase you and...
Dot.
Please, do it!
Understood. I'll do it.
Teacups that are flying, I'm not mystifying. You'll think that I'm lying. This old tale of mine, a journey through time. A permanent fire, cold frost on the pyre. Fruit never expires. You've seen in your eyes, you've seen in your life. While the old bow their heads, while the blind lead the blind, the marble loses shine. The eye clouds by design, but we know. One hope, the one truth, that if we believe we can make miracles. Even with the devils of time against you, never let the fire fade in
Okay, this is getting annoying now. Like, it's really getting annoying now. First 2 times are okay, but now 3 times. And that's why I kept this game at a 6. Every time I think there's hope for this game, there's something that brings it back down. I don't mind it being cutesy and all that, but it has to have some relevance towards what's actually going down.
Thank you for finding me, Date.
Iris! Is it really you, Iris?
And another thing, how is this more difficult than the last one when I was unlocking memory blocks? Last time I checked, the last one I did was more difficult than this one. I think this game has no idea what it's doing, to be honest with you. The last one was far more difficult than this one, unless I have another one I have to go to after this.
Date, we don't have much time left.
Iris, what are you...
What the hell? Defeat not. Shit. Defeat him. What the hell? Game 1. What in the world? Wait, what? Was it here?
It is blocked. Understood.
Oh, no, it's not here.
I suppose we...
Seems like...
Oh, damn it. What's my time in that stupid door?
This appears...
Do it.
Leave it... I dug it up!
That humanity's left.
Come on.
There's a crafting...
Who cares?
I want to...
I see. If that is what I exist, let's bring this...
Yeah, let's go.
This is...
In the language of Fact and Dot,
I'm...
you might...
Use what?
Oh, shoot.
The color of this floor...
What is this? I've never...
I'll throw it at the debris wall.
We cannot move forward.
Use bomb, yeah.
Around here?
Yeah,
Do you...
please.
What?
Oops. Okay, well... Okay, let's regroup.
As a video game...
Iris is further away from...
So when will you...
Date, can you see that?
Iris,
No,
what's going on?
Are we supposed to go...
Iris? Are you there?
Iris!
Guys, is Dante?
Iris is...
Date, this is...
That's not true. If I don't save Iris...
Either way, if you want to help
What can we do?
A mirror. What?
Power. Dance is the reason you're a threat.
That's...
Please.
Maps mystifying, you'll think that I'm lying. This old tale of mine, a journey through time. A permanent fire, cold frost on the pyre. Fruit never expires. You've seen in your eyes, you've seen in your love.
It's... Thank you for finding...
Iris.
Date, we don't...
Iris.
See, this crap is annoying. This has nothing to do with investigation. It has nothing to do with solving anything. It's simply based on speed. I don't know where the hell this game's going. You know what? I'm gonna put this game as exactly where I had it before. Was it this day?
Do it.
Leave it...
I'm gonna put this game in exactly where I had it before. It's 5.9.
I dug it up. Let's move on.
Originally I had this at a 7, then I drop it down to a 6 when this thing start not making
This
sense.
is a spacious
I had to
area.
pick a lot of stuff.
Is that marble?
Those flowers... Wow.
Okay?
Another crafting...
At least you don't have to do anything.
Dante, that's human. Save us. We should have. Please,
Holy...
Dot...
I'm the...
Hey!
What?
Is fall...
I don't know.
Really?
Let's go with...
I sup- There's a crafting table here. Iris said that all the materials should be here, but
What's that on the floor?
this is...
An egg!
Okay.
There you have...
Understood. Done.
You could have given it.
Please, you can.
Got it.
Are you going to...
Iba, I want...
I see. If that I exit... Let's...
Yeah.
This... Understood.
The wilted... They were dead...
Oh, this is...
Mira,
Another fact and Doc.
I'm...
You might.
Here's what...
There's... I see.
Right.
Power up.
All right.
Understood.
What is this? Is it on the wiki?
What is...
Oh,
Hmm?
let's find...
If
Use it.
you need to.
Oh, that...
Again.
This is just...
All right.
Yeah.
We can... Around...
Yeah.
Do you...
Please.
What?
Oops. Okay, what?
Okay. as a video.
Iris is...
So what?
Dante, can you see?
Iris!
No, you.
What's going on?
Are we supposed?
Iris?
Something big is.
No, stop!
Iris!
Nice, Dante!
Huh?
Iris,
Dante.
that's not... If I don't...
Either way, if you want
What can we...
a mirror. What?
Dance is the reason... You're...
Dante.
Please.
Understand.
Teacups that are flying, on maps mystifying. You'll think that I'm lying. This old tale of mine, a journey through time. A permanent fire, cold frost on the pyre. Fruit never expires. You've seen in your eyes.
It's
Iris.
Dante. We.
Iris.
This game is really starting to piss me off, man. None of this crap has to do with an investigation whatsoever. I'll try it one more time, but you know what? I feel like I just need to start it off from the beginning again. But I might not even remember that. I'm gonna start from the beginning. What the hell? This whole thing is stupid, man.
I went with us.
This is a...
Perhaps like this is
Easy there.
That pickaxe was dropped. Be careful.
Did you get that?
I'll.
Either way,
But with
I guess...
I think we'll find.
it is a
Everything...
this mu-
Alright, just don't...
a door or
Okay.
Go, Ive!
All right. I got a rare material.
The gates are...
Roger.
This is a new area.
And we
We gotta...
Emma.
It's a big stick.
It must be a vet.
Happy day.
Roger.
I got a lot of material.
Hey,
Yeah.
is this...
Indeed.
This is where...
Look, Dante!
This is getting on my nerves, but whatever.
What is that?
Uh-oh, an elite is coming. But it's okay. I've got the feeling we can do it.
Project Bluebeam! You have to
Well, what are we supposed to...
dance!
Dance?
Use the... They made dances...
Using this material, let's build.
What do you...
Shovel.
That's not what I'm...
Nice does
I don't think...
what you think does now. We have to just
For now, we need to...
on the crafting table.
Psychic.
It seems you can create...
But we need to make the
Understood. Done.
Now is anti.
Okay, we gotta dance for real now.
Dance, Date!
I bet.
Okay.
Teacups that are flying on maps mystifying. You'll see that I'm flying this old tale of mine. A journey through time. A woman in fire, goes lost on the fire. Yay!
We foiled Project Bluebeam! Amazing, Date! I'm not afraid of them as long as you're here.
Yeah.
Huh? Well, I don't know. A rare drop! Let's see how far we can get today.
Please defeat Nice.
All right. Let's.
A hot head is not... This appears to...
Do it.
Leave it to... I dug it up!
Got them and
Let's move on. This is a...
Is that marble?
Those flowers...
There will.
whoa, maybe I can make... Okay?
Another...
At least you.
Date,
Try.
that you say we should, please.
Holy.
Date.
I'm the.
Hey!
What?
Is fall...
I don't.
Really?
Let's go with.
Nice. There's a crack. Iris,
What's that?
this is...
An egg!
Okay,
There you have.
Understood. Done.
You could have.
Specify...
please, you can...
Got it.
Are you going to...
Iba, I want.
Nice. If that... Let's...
Yeah. Let's.
This... Understood.
The wilted iris. There were dead.
Oh, what?
This...
In the language of the fact and dot,
I'm
you might...
using.
There's something around...
Ice...
Right.
The color of this...
All right.
Understood.
What is this? Is it on the...
What is...
Oh!
Hmm?
Let's...
If you use this,
Use it.
you need...
Oh, that. This is just.
All right.
Yeah.
We cannot move forward. Around...
Yeah.
dance!
Do you...
Please.
What?
Oops. Okay, what? Okay.
As a bit...
Iris is.
So...
Date,
Iris.
no.
Let's go.
Are we...
Iris.
No,
I-
Nice is Date.
Huh?
Iris is...
Date.
That's not... If I don't...
Either way, if you want...
What can we...
What?
Dance is the reason you're...
Date.
Please.
Teacups that are flying, on maps mystifying, you'll think that I'm lying.
It's... Thank you for fighting.
Iris.
Please. Please trust me.
Iba, touch the core.
Date.
Iris, I'm sorry that I doubted you. I believe you. Watch it, Nyes, X00639.
Are you serious?
And like I said, I'll fulfill your wish. From this moment on, you're under my protection.
Then...
Yeah, I'm your bodyguard. I'll protect you with my life, Iris.
Date! Thank you! Thank you so much!
Date, are you delusional?
You're going to help too, right, Iba?
My mission is to support you.
Good. And thank you.
Hotel with Tessa?
It was a business hotel.
It was a 2-bedroom.
Don't say misleading things. We got 2 rooms, each with 2 beds.
We did bathe together, though.
No, we didn't.
What?
Isn't your gang supposed to be clean?
Why are you here anyway? I see. I heard about the shooting in Golden Yoko Show last night, but I never thought it'd be you. Sorry, never heard of them. Are they even real?
Yes!
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course. I've always known, deep down, there must be some kind of secret organization. Always known it. Unfortunately, I don't have anything new for you. But, I did find out a little nugget of info you might want to hear.
What is it?
I'll tell you, but, Dante, come over here.
Again with this?
I'll tell you, Dante, but you gotta do something for me.
You want to shake her hand again?
No. I did that already. I want to see her panties.
I'm sorry?
I want to see Tessa's panties. I really want to see. Gotta let me get a peek.
She's not gonna let you.
Well, can you at least ask?
Unbelievable. Iris, could you do me a favor?
Hmm?
This guy wants to see your panties.
That's messed up, Date. I know Momo would never say that. Right, Momo?
Yeah, of course. Dante, you evil pervert.
Seriously?
You just want a handshake, right?
Yeah, exactly. I tried to tell him. Dante, this is the happiest day of my life.
I thought that was yesterday.
When you told me you were coming, I made them leave. I can't let them see me with Tessa. Anyway, I got some info about the shootout. Those guys aren't affiliated with any criminal organization we're aware of. They're not Mafia or Yakuza or anything. They must have been hired guns. By Niza Mattis.
It's nice at laws.
Anyway, what's this intel you got?
Check it out. Friday night near Bloom Park, someone saw Renju.
Friday night?
That's when Shoko was killed.
Obviously, that's not enough to pin the crime on him, but it does prove he was there.
I guess we should check the merry-go-round again.
The police have already thoroughly searched it. And we've been there more than once before on our investigation.
But we might have missed something, right?
Maybe Mr. Okiura was a part of NICE.
What?
Oh, sorry. I was just thinking out loud.
What makes you think that?
When we were at Sunfish Pocket, my friend said... he was looking for Iris. And then later, I almost got kidnapped by NICE. Was that just a coincidence? And not just that. When you found my corpse in the parallel world, you found it in an Okiura warehouse. Whoever killed me in that world was probably affiliated with NICE. That makes me think the Okiuras and NICE are connected. School?
Today's Tuesday. It's not another holiday, is it?
What are you, dense? Tessa was almost kidnapped. She can't be going to school now.
I guess that's true, but...
Well, that's random.
I just thought she might be worried.
It's fine, she knows already. I told her I'm with you. I'm sure she's not worried. Maybe Nai's ordered Mr. Okiura to help number 89 escape. And number 89 is an assassin. If he wanted to get rid of me, Mr. Okiura must have...
If that's true, it could be related to Shoko's murder. Shoko must have found out about the organization. They killed her for getting too close, then displayed the body as a warning.
If you want to know more about knives, why not ask Ota? Remember what he said yesterday?
I know about conspiracies and secret societies, too. I find that stuff fascinating.
Good point. Might have more information for us. Let's go, Iris.
Oh, yeah!
You're taking Tessa with you? She'll be safer here.
Can't do that. I made her a promise. I will be Iris's Garterbelt.
Or what?
Sorry. I meant bodyguard.
A Freudian slip, no doubt.
Well, whatever. But if you're gonna leave, you should take this with you.
What's this?
A GPS transmitter.
Moma, Iris's phone already has GPS.
I know. But in case she gets caught and they throw away her phone or something, it's just an extra precaution. Put it somewhere they won't find it.
Thank you.
I hope it'll be useful. Date, if anything happens to her, I'll make sure you regret it for the rest of your life.
It'll be fine, relax.
There's no one in the garden.
So must be inside.
Wait, I have detected a living organism in the garden. You should look around.
That's so. Next to him is... Hitomi?
It looks that way.
Why? What's Hitomi doing with So?
Date? What's wrong?
said you don't know Sosajima, right?
Right, I don't.
What about your mom? Does she know So?
I don't know. I don't think she does.
Do you ever talk politics at home? Anything like that?
Not particularly. Why are you asking me this?
We told you you can't come in here!
You can't do what you want just because you're a cop.
You're trespassing. That's a crime, you know.
Get lost.
Fine. Let's go, Iris.
Yeah.
Kniset laws. I see. It's not impossible. Tessa is my hopes and dreams, my peace and my life, my light, my star, my sun, my goddess. She's like the laws of the universe itself, the embodiment of beauty. An angel, a lover, a cute mascot to put on a body pillow, a guru, a wife, a soulmate, life itself. She's the object of my total devotion and worship.
Snuck lover and wife in there.
I would ignore it.
And like I told you before, I'm Tessa's thrall. If she calls for me, I'll be there.
Thanks, Ota. That makes me happy.
I've heard of them. Nizitlos, or Nize, is a satanic secret society. Like a cult. They sacrifice children. While the sacrifice is up all night screaming, the cult performs ritual acts. Their ranks are full of politicians, intellectuals, and business tycoons. They've only been active for a few decades, but some say that they've grown to be the largest secret society in the world. An organization so big that it absorbed the Freemasons and the Illuminati.
Great. Just great, man. Now we've gone from secret science organization to secret cult organization that worship devils and stuff. Sacrificing people to demons. So it went from space and possibly dimension warping or time travel or Steins Gate stuff to straight up Dante's Inferno stuff. This damn game is all over the place, man. Like, what is this, man? Like, seriously, is this really a science fiction / mystery game / cult game? It's like this game is everything all mixed in one bag. And like, where is the Sherlock Holmes stuff in this? It's here, obviously, but is it really the main forefront of the game? It keeps throwing Shoko Nazami's death into it just to remind the players that Shoko Nazami is the main person that you have to focus your detective work on to find out who killed her. But every now and again it goes off on a tangent. Now we're on freaking cult worshippers. Freaking hey, man, like what the hell? Next thing you know, it'll have nothing to do with cult worshipping. It has to do with, like I said, time traveling. Because it wasn't time travel before, it was more like dimension warping and then space and then science organization. But next thing you know, it's full on blown out time travel and stuff. Who knows? Freaking the so-called dimension warp is probably hell and all that. All kinds of crazy stuff that has nothing to do with just a murder investigation. Weird ass game, man. People probably like this because they're all freaks all over the place. Oh my god. Like, where's the Sherlock Holmes in this game? It's like this game is all over the place. Is this science fiction? Or is this about cult worshipping? And we're now caught up to cult worshipping. It first started out straight off murder mystery, then it went into science fiction murder mystery. Now we're into cult worshipping murder mystery / science fiction. So it's now 3 things now. Great. I can't wait to see what the 4th is.
She's out right now. I'm not sure where. Shopping, maybe. But even though their membership is huge, no one knows who their leaders are. Like, you've heard of the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, right? But for Nyes, there's nothing. No one knows who's running the cult. My guess is that they're being led by a group of super geniuses.
Ota doesn't know about the Wanchen system or its connections to Nyes. Iris found out, which is why they're after her. Pieces fit.
If you believe everything she said.
Yeah, and that's why I say Acid here is still kind of guilty party suspect. One of the main player suspects. Because you're telling me the whole time she like, oh, I know what the Wadjet system is. I just don't know what a time machine is. The whole time she's known Ota, she never once told him about the Wadjet system or about Nyes or anything. And he just happened to know about Nyes. What, did he tell her about Nyes or she told him about Nyes? And he wouldn't have looked it up. Either way, it's like she kept certain things away from certain people, including her so-called uncle who was with her mom. It's like she knows certain things and she's not telling about certain things on purpose. Like, that's why Iba is saying, oh, if she's even telling the truth. Now, to be honest with you, I don't even trust Iba to begin with. So it's like Iba is saying this stuff because maybe she's resisting the program of the people who are in control of her. But I don't trust none of them, to be honest with you. Not her, not Ota over here, not Iba, not Pewter, not Hitomi's mom, and not the boss. And notice how Hitomi's mom is with So showed up at his garden and stuff. But like, why the hell is she there? Why is she important? Wouldn't it be something like Renji to be there, or like somebody else, or like Pewter to be there? It keeps going on back and forth between these 4 people, these 4 suspects that I keep talking about, because it's most likely one of them is the actual killer. Like I knew from the very beginning, because at least that is consistent. At least I give the game credit for that it was able to establish like the 4 main suspects, or at least the 4 main suspects you think are still consistent throughout the entire game, even though it's throwing all this alien time travel or not even time travel, like dimension warp, parallel dimension, and space, and Yakuza, and assassins, and throwing all this other crazy stuff your way. At least it was consistent with the suspects at the beginning of the first part of the game and the second part of the game. So it at least has that going for it. Otherwise, everything will be off the rails, and you wouldn't care who actually killed her after a while. But I'm glad I am glad that I at least still care to an extent who killed her. Because coming towards the end of the game, by the time I reach the end of the game, I might not care who killed her at all. It's like, oh, you killed her? Like, so what? By the time you reach the end of the game, you might not care who killed her. Because the game is all over the place with all these theories, and we're now into devil worship. What are we going to see? Mephisto pop up? I don't know, man. Or what? The Doomslayer's going to pop up out of nowhere? It's like, there was once this guy who was taking care of demons, and they built a watch system simply to take care of this guy. For all I know, that's what's going to happen. We got damn Trove in this game, or Minecraft in this game, dancing in this game, anime cutesy girl in this game, Yakuza stuff in this game. All this stuff mixed in on top of the actual murder mystery that has nothing to do with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden the Doomslayer pop out of nowhere and showed up in here. Or Billy Loomis and Stu Macher, some Scream stuff start happening. All of a sudden it goes from murder mystery into straight up slasher flick. I don't know what the hell this game is, but it's definitely not murder mystery completely. It's like murder mystery slash this, slash that, slash this, slash that. It's like it's trying to please all different type of people. That's exactly what this game is. It's like this game is trying to please all sorts of people without staying focused on what it's supposed to actually be doing, which is murder mystery. So let's continue anyway.
Oh, just like my big brother. He's a hero who will help me out of any jam. He's really important to me. I like him a lot.
How much?
3 Earths worth.
Yeah!
Iris, you look cold. You okay?
Yeah, fine. I just get cold easily.
The room is 74 degrees Fahrenheit at 62% humidity. Not conditions often considered cold.
Great. This damn game, I swear, is still going with the whole robot thing. Her not being alive. Because to be honest with you, if she's not alive, she's still talking to you. That is a robot. Because no undead, when a zombie or an infected comes back to life, they're not talking intelligent and trying to figure out how to solve puzzles and all this stuff. That's something like a machine or a program does. So she's a damn robot. Great. The thing I feared the most. This game truly is going all over the place. I mean, I'm not 100% sure that she's a robot, but I did say at the beginning that I swear to everything, if she turns out to be an alien or robot, I might flip my lid. I don't know, man. I have no idea where this game is going now. All I know is I'm still holding on to the detective part of the game. All this other crap I don't care about.
Mizuki is like a cute little sister. And my favorite friend. I like her a lot.
How much?
About 3 universes worth.
Aww.
Like, okay, so here's the thing. It's fine to have characters that are all diverse and unique in their own way and do crazy stuff that's unique to themselves in their own way. That's fine. Ota could be a weirdo that's into creating I guess you could say sub accounts and talking to himself on multiple sub accounts. Mizuki could be a little kid that's shy, but in all truth is abrasive on the inside. And Aset could be someone who's very suspicious, forthright, but has very cunning and deceptive behaviors, while at the same time being cutesy. All these things are fine within the game. what's not fine is when they start going, each of these characters start, like say, there are lines popping out of their head, and each of these lines represent certain things that they're going to talk about. If those things they're going to talk about are not relevant towards the overall aspect of the game, and the overall aspect of the game is the mystery of Shogun Nanami's death and how to solve it, then they start going off on a tangent. And once they start going off on a tangent, it drags the people who are playing the game out of the actually detective section of the game and pulling them into things that are not related to detective work, which is not good for a game that's about murder mystery. It becomes something totally different, and it doesn't hold the audience's attention towards the overall plot of the story. It kind of distracts them and kind of annoys them in a way. Like the whole dancing and the whole troll thing, that only needed to happen probably like twice, those dance sequences. I don't care how the person popped up in the dream world. They could pop up as a leprechaun for all I care. But there is no need for extra ridiculous amount of dance sequences. It was just too much. And the same as throwing in So, and then throwing in the prisoner, and then throwing in Renju, and then throwing in the Psy machine. Well, not the Psy machine. Throwing in the boss, and then throwing in the I wouldn't say the home. No. Throwing in the Yakuza, and then throwing in this science organization, and throwing all these random things in, and saying they're not random, they're all connected. Well, they're all random. They're definitely all random because they're not connected to the overall plot of the story, which is Shoko Nadami's death. They all just connected to it as attachments to say that they're all connected to Shoko Nadami's death. They all have purpose for the reason for Shoko Nadami's death to happen. But there was no reveal within the beginning part of the game, middle part of the game, or leading towards the end. Now, see, I don't mind at the beginning part of the game. They don't give such an information because that's the intro part of the game, or the first half of the game. Now, once it got past the two videos, part 1 and part 2 that I played, once it got into part 3, that's when this whole organization should have popped up, but it didn't pop up. It popped up too late, and they didn't have breadcrumbs leading to this organization to give you idea that maybe theorize that there was some suspicious science organization going on in the back scenes that are possibly the people who are responsible for the killings. No, the killings were all from the beginning of the game to where it was before this whole science organization or whatever the cult organization pop up was attached to an individual, one single individual doing the killing or killed Shoko Nadami. And now, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, the Yakuza came into the mix and say, but that still doesn't say that one person didn't kill them. So I wasn't fooled by the Yakuza. What I was realizing that it was simply a distraction. But now the science organization is in here. I started to say, well, it's not really a distraction anymore. It's forcefully trying to blind you from what's going on in the overall aspect of the game. It's forcefully trying to break up that timeline. And it's so stupid because you're not supposed to break that timeline. You're supposed to keep that timeline running smooth. Otherwise, you risk the chance of your audience starting to get pissed off by you trying to break that timeline to force other things in. I don't know, man. I'm gonna keep it going. I'll probably end this off in like 30 minutes or so. No, not even. I'm gonna end this in like 15 minutes. Now, all of a sudden, this science organization is a cult organization that does demon sacrifices and worship demons and stuff. Like, for crying out loud, man. How did it get here? It started from Shoko Nadami's death being by the hands of one killer, or possibly two killers, or a group of killers, into, being part of a Yakuza, into it possibly being an assassin, into it possibly being a jealous boyfriend from Hitomi's past into it, now going into being a science organization, into the science organization now turning into a cult ritualistic organization. Like, man, it's all over the place, man. Into it, oh yeah, and I forgot, into it being Iris trembling like she's a damn zombie or a robot. So I completely forgot. Could be the possibility that aliens are in this piece as well as robots. Robots, aliens, things from hell, you name it. Apparently they're all in here. Jesus.
Well, Ota,
Date, can I... Look, I was gonna let you have it, but under the circumstances. Date, can I...
What are you talking about?
Mizuki, of course. You've been neglecting her. Don't you think she's at her limit? Mizuki stayed at one of the mermaids' houses last night. She was twisting and turning all night. They had to sleep in the same bed so she'd calm down. She called me this morning so I could pick her up. Normally, she'd be in school, but Mizuki had the day off for mourning. I thought that she shouldn't be alone. Why don't you try being nicer to Mizuki? I know she doesn't show it, but she's really hurting. She needs you, Date. She just doesn't want to trouble you.
She's a remarkable, brave young girl. You should try to understand how she feels.
who is Iris to me? A friend? A big sister? And I kinda envy her. No, stop it! It's true, though. I look up to you a lot, Iris. If you're asking me, he's involved in all this, isn't he? Is he the culprit? Did he really kill Mom? Well, I guess it's understandable that he'd be a suspect. After Mom got killed, he didn't even call. He called me out to Bloom Park for some reason. I thought it was suspicious. But I pretended not to notice. I didn't want to acknowledge it. I wanted to believe in Daddy.
All right, Iris, let's get going.
You got it.
Date, if something happens to Tessa, let me know, okay? I'll come help right away.
Me too. I'll save you no matter what, Iris.
Thank you both.
Promise me.
I promise.
There's nothing here.
Guess not.
Wanna race, Dante?
Race?
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. You wanna challenge me?
Well, sure.
Yeah, let's do it! We'll start here and end here.
So, we race around the merry-go-round?
Right. Line up next to me. Okay, here we go. Ready, set, go! See? Told you. Iris is the messenger of the gods.
You've earned your namesake. Do you know a lot about mythology?
Huh?
You said that Iris is a goddess in Greek mythology. And 3 days ago you were talking about Egyptian mythology.
Horus is the Egyptian god of the sky and sun. The right eye is the eye of Ra, and that's the sun. The left eye is the eye of Wadjet, and that one is the moon. Oh, mythology? I actually don't know that much. Uncle taught me everything. 6 years ago, I used to come here with someone all the time. I used to call him Uncle.
Oh yeah, didn't he come up with Aset too?
Yeah, that's right. That name is rooted in Egyptian mythology too.
Yeah, I think I'll end it here. I'm getting kind of sleepy. I fall asleep at the wheel there just now, so I'll end it here. Tomorrow I'll probably I'll jump on earlier than I typically does because I have to do Warframe tomorrow. I was supposed to jump on Warframe today, but I got into this and I completely forgot the time. But definitely I'll jumping on to this early, probably around 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And then get this done early in the 3 or 4 in the afternoon, so I could have enough time to do Warframe in the evening. But yeah, not much has been revealed except 1 or 2 things. But like I said, sugarcoated topping stuff, all this there to distract you from what's really going on. So suspects are still there, and the main I guess you could say the main possibility contender for suspects is Boss, but the random 4 are still there. I'm just waiting to see when I'm going to cross each one of them off and actually be one of them. It'll probably be a moment or a situation in the next video that kind of cross them off. But until then, I'll keep them. So that's it for this video.